All right, boys and girls, today we are focused on techniques of throwing. All right, so what I'm going to show you is the starting techniques of throwing, and then at the end of the release, it's all depending on what sport you're playing. All right, so boys and girls, so when you throw, you want to make sure you have a good wide base. And then you also want to turn yourself sideways, okay, to face the target that you're throwing. So again, I'm right-handed person, so that means I'm facing my non-throwing to the target. All right. So then you want to make sure you keep your eyes on the target at all times. Now, then before you throw, you want to shift your weight from the throwing hand, and then right when you release, you're going to shift your weight forward. And then when you shift forward, you turn your hip and your shoulder facing the target. Okay? All right, so that is the basic of throwing. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through you. I'm going to show you what each of these sport, how the release point for each of these sport, okay? All right, softball, same thing, same basic, turn, right? See how I turn? Then now, in baseball, you want to throw, or softball, you kind of do an arc, like an arc throwing motion, and then release. So when you release it, overhand throw, all right? So, now softball, baseball is the same thing, right? Again, face the target, shift, turn, and throw, okay? Now in basketball, because your hand is small, okay, you kind of hold on to it and release it this way. So your release point is, instead of arc like this, and then you just start it like this, okay? All right, so that's basketball. And soccer, same thing, okay? You're doing same thing, you shift, non-throwing, and turn, okay? In football, the release point is a little different, okay? So the release point on football, you release it from your shoulder and above, okay? You don't throw it like this, like baseball. So baseball's here, but football, you release it up here, okay? And then what you do is when you're in all these sports, you end pointing to the target. On football, you end by pointing down back to your hip, okay? Because what happened is you want to make the ball spin, so that's when you turn this way, that's where the ball's spinning, okay? But again, so the non-throwing shoulder facing, weight shift over, and then turn, okay? Now in Frisbee, boys and girls, it's a little different than all of them. On Frisbee, you want to face your throwing shoulder to the target. And same thing, your waist, shift, and then throw. Keeping eyes on the object at all the time, okay, where you throwing to. And then for Frisbee, like I said, you want to face it to the target with the throwing hand, all right? So it's like this, all right? You don't throw a Frisbee like this, okay? All right? I mean, you can, but it's most effective this way, all right? All right, so boys and girls, so all these sports, okay, have a different type of release. And also all this, you can also do an underhand pass and overhand pass. All right, so an underhand pass, the same thing, you turn, you shift your weight from the back to the front. The only difference is you push it underhand. Okay, for any of these sports, you can do an underhand pass. Okay, you don't have to do an overhand pass, you can also do an underhand pass. But with an underhand pass, same thing, like I said, you want to turn it to the target, okay? All right, boys and girls, I hope you understand the techniques of throwing today. Enjoy the rest of your day.